Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Talk Fluent. I'm Sarah. Today, I want to share another simple, true story with you. It's about the first time. I spoke English in a small group, not just to one person, but to 3 strangers. It was a moment that felt scary at first, but it slowly changed the way I saw myself as a learner. A few years ago, I joined a small community center near my apartment. They had a weekly English conversation club. Nothing big, just a few chairs, a round table, some tea, and people trying their best. Every week, I walked past the door. Every week, I stopped and looked inside for 2 seconds. And every week, I walked away. Why? Because I didn't feel ready. I thought everyone inside spoke better than me. I thought they would judge my mistakes. I thought my grammar wasn't good enough. So instead of joining, I stayed outside. I watched YouTube videos. I listened to podcasts. I read blogs. But I never pushed myself to speak. And speaking was exactly what I needed. One evening, something changed. I was tired. Not tired of studying, but tired of being afraid. I walked to the community center again. I stood in front of the door. My heart was beating fast, the same feeling you get before an exam, or a job interview, or something new. I heard voices inside, people laughing, talking, making mistakes, trying again. I put my hand on the door handle. I wanted to leave, but I told myself, just try. You can always leave after 5 minutes. So I opened the door. Inside, 3 people looked at me and smiled. A woman said, "Hi, are you here for the English group?" My voice was shaking when I answered, "Yes, I think so." They invited me to sit down. There was tea on the table, and everyone looked relaxed. The teacher was a young man with a notebook. He said, "Welcome. We're happy you're here. Today, we're talking about hobbies." Honestly. And that was the moment I panicked. Hobbies? I didn't know how to talk about hobbies in English. I didn't know the right vocabulary. I didn't know the right grammar. But the teacher looked at me and gently asked, "So, what do you enjoy doing?" My mind went empty, completely empty. I looked at the table. I looked at my hands. I looked at the door. I thought about running away. But then I took a slow breath and said, "I like reading, and sometimes I go walking in the park." Simple, short, not perfect. And do you know what happened? The group smiled. One person said, "Oh, I love walking too." Another asked, "What kind of books do you like?" Suddenly, I wasn't afraid. I was part of a conversation, a real one. I made mistakes. Many mistakes. I used the wrong tense. I forgot simple words. But everyone waited for me, listened to me, and encouraged me. After 10 minutes, I felt a little more relaxed. After 20 minutes, I was laughing. After 30 minutes, I forgot I was speaking English at all. Something small happened inside me that night. A soft, quiet confidence appeared. Not big, not loud, but real. When the group ended, the teacher said, "Great job today. Come again next week." I went home with a warm feeling in my chest, a feeling I didn't recognize at first, but later understood. It was pride, not because I spoke perfectly, but because I showed up. After that evening, I joined the group every week. Some days, I spoke a lot. Some days, I spoke only a little. Some days, I felt strong. And some days, I felt slow and tired. But I kept going. I started noticing small improvements. I could introduce myself more easily. I could answer questions without thinking too much. I could ask simple questions back. I could talk about my day, my plans, my feelings. Little by little, my confidence grew. Not because I studied more, but because I connected more. One night, months later, a new student joined the group. He looked nervous, just like I did on my first day. He sat down, looked at the table, and avoided eye contact. The teacher asked him, "What are your hobbies?" He froze. And without thinking, I smiled at him and said, "It's okay. We're here to help." He looked at me, took a breath, and began speaking. And in that moment, I realized how far I had come. Learning English had given me something more than vocabulary and grammar. It gave me courage. It gave me new friends. It gave me a new version of myself, a version that wasn't afraid to try. Even now, I still practice every day. Not because I must, but because it makes me feel alive. Because every small conversation teaches me something new. Because English is not just a language. It's a doorway to connection. All right, my friends. That was today's story. Simple, honest, and a little longer than usual. I hope it reminds you that you don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up and try. Thank you for listening. I'm Sarah, and I'll see you in the next episode of Talk Fluent. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and trust your small steps. Bye for now.